Saint Veloth was a Chimer mystic hailing from the Somerset Isles, either during the Dawn Era or late Merethic Era. He is best known as the father of the Dunmer race, and was also responsible for the first large-scale religious sect espousing Deadra worship. Prophet Veloth communed with the Daedric prince Boethia and agreed to accept her gifts. He inscribed the Velothi prophecies, which expounded the doctrine of worship of the good Deadra, Boethia, Azura, and Mephala, along with ways to negotiate with the bad Deadra, Molag Bal, Malakath, Sheogorath, and Mehrunes Dagon. Veloth and his followers split from their Aldmeri roots and migrated en masse to their new homeland called Resdain, now known as Morrowind. Veloth's followers founded a new nation based on Daedric principles. The Chimer settled the area rapidly and flourished, enjoying a period of high culture known to many as the Golden Age. They built mighty temples to Boethia, Azura, and Mephala, and established the traditions of Daedric worship in Morrowind. In 1E700, the then mortal tribunal of Vivec, Almalexia, and Sotha Sil exploited Kagranak's tools to make themselves gods and created a new religion called the Tribunal Temple. The three good Deadra were thereafter known to the temple as the anticipations of the tribunal. The Ashlander tribes, however, refused to worship the tribunal and remained true to their worship of the good Deadra. The destruction of Vivec City and the subsequent eruption of Red Mountain in 4E05 was not just a crisis in terms of the physical destruction it caused. It also cut deeply into the ancient religious beliefs of the Dunmer. With all three of the tribunes widely believed dead or disappeared, what had been a simmering schism within the ranks of the temple priesthood burst into the open. The new temple declared the worship of the tribunes a result of misguided teaching, blaming the mistakes on the former tribunal. The temple now taught that the Deadra venerated by the Ashlander tribes were the true way and should be revered by the Dunmer people. Fittingly, the Deadra were named the Reclamations, as if they were reclaiming their status from the tribunal. Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and Vivec were relegated to the status of saints, a traditional way to venerate the most honored Dunmer ancestors. This apparently satisfied enough of the existing priesthood that the new temple was able to maintain at least a semblance of outward continuity. The rise of the new temple almost completely vindicated the previously persecuted Ashlanders, who had continued to worship the three Deadra throughout the tribunal's rule. The Ashlanders are now lauded as the keepers of the old ways and having true vision. It is now quite common for many of the Dunmer people to make the arduous pilgrimages into the Ash Wastes to seek the counsel of the wise women. Despite the rise of the new temple, worship of the tribunal continued into the Fourth Era and was driven underground. These cults were considered heretical by wider Dunmeri society and were persecuted by the new temple. Were the Dunmer people cursed from the beginning? They travel all the way from Somerset Islands to Morrowind with an active volcano that causes them untold suffering whenever it erupts. When the tribunal broke an oath and stole the divine power of the Heart of Lorcan, the Daedric prince Azura cursed the Dunmer people, transforming the color of their skin gray and their eyes red. In 2E882, Dagoth-Ur awoke from his slumber and unleashed the blight upon Morrowind, which caused further suffering. At the beginning of the Fourth Era, Bardau hit Vivec City with the full strength of its original descent, destroying Vivec City and triggering a series of natural disasters that devastated Vardenfell. The Argonian armies of Black Marsh invaded the south and east of Morrowind. Many Dunmer have fled to other places around Tamriel, notably Skyrim and the small island of Solstheim. The Tribunal Temple was part of the Dunmer people's religion for more than 1,000 years. With the fall of the Tribunal in 4E05, the Dunmer people had to go through a period of soul-searching when they realized the gods they believed in were false gods. No race of Tamriel has suffered more than the Dunmer. That is for sure. When playing Skyrim, you meet Elder Othraloth, a dark elf conjurer, who is a priest living in Raven Rock. He talks about the Reclamations,
The Reclamations are the true tribune, the Deadra that consecrate the Dunmer people, Azura, Methala, and Boethia. We call them the true tribunal because they have reclaimed their place in our hearts from the false tribunal that came before.
Throughout their history in Tamriel, the Dunmer people have been through a lot. Will there be more challenges for the Dunmer in the Fourth Era? Will they stop worshipping the Deadra? I only have one thing to say. The span of 2 centuries since the fall of the Tribunal Temple is a very brief period in the long history of the ancient Dunmer. For the Dunmer people, change is the only constant.